Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, in this video, I'll be telling you about how to use a for loop inside Java. Okay, so first of all, in a for loop, like why to use a for loop or what is a for loop? So, for loop is used when you have to execute a particular task multiple times. Suppose I want to print uh, 10 natural numbers. Okay, so the natural number starts from 1 and then it ends till 10, right? So here what I have to do, each time I cannot print 1, 2, 3, 4 and then so on, okay? Instead what I can do, I can just run a for loop over here which starts from 1 and ends till 10, okay? So for this, how you can write the for loop, the syntax for loop basically is something like this. So it comes with for, and then inside that you can use the variable. I prefer using I, okay, for I equal to 1 because you want to start it from 1, right? You want to print it from 1. So for I equal to 1, that means this particular part is known as initialization. You are initializing it, okay? Then I is less than equal to 10. That means it will run till the number 10. Okay, that means here you are telling Java that this whole program should run till number 10. Okay, and after that, then a semicolon, and then incrementation comes up. Okay, so I'll just write I plus plus. Okay, so let me write the for loop again so that it's clear. So let's say the for loop is, so for I is equal to 1, okay, then a semicolon. Now I is less than equal to 10 and a semicolon and then I plus plus. Okay, that's your for loop. Fine. So this particular for loop is for, it will run from 1 and it will move on to 10. Okay, so this part is called as initialization. Okay, I'll define it or name it as I. This part, which is I less than equal to 10, is known as declaration, that I am declaring that I want to run this particular program up to the number 10. Okay, and this particular part, which is I plus plus, this is known as incrementation. Okay, so here you can do an increment or you can do a decrement. That means I minus minus, depends upon your code how you want to proceed. Okay, so once I write this particular for loop, now what will happen? So I value, okay, will be equal to 1. Fine. So here inside this for loop, if I write system.out.println, so let's say I define it as SOPLN, that is system.out.println, and I just put it as I. Okay, inside this I want to print the I value. Okay, now what will happen? How this whole code will work? So first of all, I value will be printed. That means in the output I1 will come up. Okay, then this particular iteration will go right over here in the increment part, and it will increment the value from I to 2. Okay, that is I plus plus. So I value was 1, now I value is 2. Okay, now again it will check whether 2 is less than 10. Yes, it is less than 10. Then again it will go system.out.println I value 2 will get printed in the output. Then again it will increment here. Okay, so now I value will become 3, and then again this condition will be checked. So what's happening in the for loop? For loop, first of all, when you write the for loop, it checks, first of all the incrementation is done. Okay, so I, and then after that condition is being tested, that is C, and then after that you get the output. Okay, until this condition satisfies, till then the for loop runs. Okay, whenever this condition terminates, the for loop will end and the program will end. Okay, it will stop executing. Fine. So that was the whole idea, like how you actually use a for loop inside your program. Okay, so now what we will do, we'll just see a live example. I'll take a small example and I'll see like how to create a code or a class inside Java wherein you can go ahead and use a for loop and test it out how it works. Okay, So let's go ahead and create a class. So let's take the class name as, let's say I take it as, okay, any class name you can take, that's not necessary. So let's remove this out. Okay, and now suppose same thing I want to go ahead with, like I want to print out 10 natural numbers. Okay, so in order to print out 10 natural numbers, you need to write the code, you need to write the for loop and all. Fine. So first of all, you need to start with the class. So class, let's take the name as demo, okay, or the same name which we have given, okay, and then underneath it we'll write public static void main string, okay, then the brackets. Now inside the brackets, since I want to use a for loop, so I'll just write int I. So what does this particular line of code means? I am telling Java that yes, there is a variable which I'll be using in my program, and in the data type of that is integer. Okay, now after this you can write your for loop. So for I is equal to 1, okay, I is less than equal to 10, then I plus plus, okay, and inside this I'll just write system dot out dot println and the value of I just want. Okay, now see one thing over here, I value will get printed. Okay, now if you want the I value to be printed something like this, that is 1, 2, 3, that means it's getting printed in each new line, right? So for the new line you have to use /n, okay, after the I, but you want it in the same line, so 1, 2, 3, 4 will come up right over here. It will not go to a new line, right? That's how you can change your code if you want it in a new line. So let's compile this off. So no syntax error. Now go ahead and check the output. Okay, now if you see over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's the output which we got. That's printing the 10 natural numbers with the help of a for loop. Fine. Now over here, suppose I want similar to like the nested if and else condition, like we use if then else if, okay, or if within if, those are called as nested if. Okay, so if you want to see like how those work, you can check on the right hand side top of this particular video itself. There would be a link displaying over there. You can click on that and you can go to the video and check out how a nested if works. Similarly, nested for loops can also work. Okay, so this is a simple for loop. This demonstration was a simple for loop. Now if you want to work with nested for loop, so for that, now before going on to that, in real life where you can use the for loops, so for loop can be used when you are trying to execute a code which has n number of iterations. Okay, that point of time you can use the for loop. Or where you want to, suppose basic example, like you have to multiply two numbers, at that point of time you can use a nested for loop, that is for within for. Okay, so how to use a nested for loop? So for that you can write int j. Okay, two variables I am taking, that is integer I and then a data type integer, and the variable name is j. Okay, now inside this itself I will be writing the second for loop. So for I is equal to 1, I'm sorry, I equal to 1, okay, and j equal to 1, j is less than equal to, let's say, 10, and j plus plus. Okay, and inside this I'll just write system dot out dot println I plus j. Okay, that's it. So this is a syntax basically for writing two for loop, that is nested for loop, okay, a for inside a for. So first for loop there is a variable I which I have used, and the second for loop there is a variable j which I have used. Okay, rest of the syntax inside the for loop would be same. Okay, don't forget to use the semicolons. Fine. Now if I compile this and then if I want to see the output, okay, let me clear this off and then we can see the output more carefully. Okay. Okay, now if you see the output, look at the output how it comes. So it's like I plus j I'm doing it, right? So what it will do, it will take the I value and then the j value. So 1 and 1. Okay, so my first output will be 2. Then what will happen, first the j loop, okay, the j for loop, j value will get incremented. Okay, so earlier the j value was 1, now the j value will get incremented to 2. Okay, then I value will increment. Okay, so earlier the I value was 1, so it will get incremented to 2. Okay, that way it works. But here in the for loop which we have used right over here, if you see, okay, so right over here if you see what's happening, it will run till 10. Okay, this j loop will run till 10 first of all. So first of all the inner for loop which is there, that will get executed. That means the I value will remain constant, I will be remain 1. Okay, that means j value will keep on incrementing. So that means 1 plus 1 will get printed. So if you see, the output is 2. Then 1 plus 2, the output is 3. Then 1 plus 3, the output is 4. So once this particular for loop gets terminated, then only it will execute the final for loop. Okay, that means it again prints the value for the I for loop which you have used. Okay, that means in a nested for loop, first of all the inner for loop is getting executed, then the outer for loop will get executed. Okay, that's how a nested for loop works. Okay, so I'll explain it one more time. In this particular code, same code, what's happening, suppose I have two variables I and j. Okay, I have I value as 1 and j value as also 1 according to this code. Okay, so in a nested for loop, first of all this inner code will get executed, the inner one. Okay, that is a j1. Okay, so once this gets executed, it checks j is equal to 1. Okay, j is less than equal to 10. Yes, it is less than equal to 10, and then it will get inside this particular. So after j less than equal to 10, it gets inside the for loop. Okay, and it executes the statement whatever you have written. So here we have written system.out.println I plus j. That means earlier my I value was 1, I equal to 1. So I plus j, that means if I have suppose an output place, so I plus j will be 1 plus 1 which is equal to 2. That means 2 will be my first output. So if you see over here, 2 is the first output right here. Okay, now what happens, you just ignore the first for loop. Okay, as I said, inner for loop will work first. Now what happened, j value gets incremented, j plus plus, that means j value now it is 2. Okay, again it is testing, yes it is less than equal to 10, this will again get it printed. That means 1 plus 2, that means 3 is the output. So if you see, 3 is the output. Again j value will get incremented, now the j value is 3. Again it's less than 10, so 1 plus 3, that is 4. Okay, so up to 10 it will get printed. Once this particular for loop is terminated, that means once j value reaches to 11, okay, j value is terminated, then what it will do, it will start with for loop, that is the outer for loop, and it will now check the I values and then it will print accordingly. Okay, so this is how the whole nested for loop works. Okay, so hope you guys understood it carefully, like how to work with for loop inside Java, how to work with nested for loops. Okay, similar way you can use it in your programs, and if you have any queries related to your code in Java using the for loop, you can comment down in the comment section. I'll be happy to help you out. Okay, so that was it for today, guys. If you feel that this video was helpful, please go ahead and like this video, share it as much as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest videos on coding. Thank you so much guys for watching. Let's meet up on our next video. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe.